welcome to our third regional showcase of 2021. I want to give you a warm welcome and hope that all of the information provided by our college and university reps for today is useful in providing insightful information so that you may consider the United States as your first choice. Please note that your microphone and your video will be set to off. However, if you do have a question, make sure that you can go ahead and type it on the chat box. This video will also be broadcasted through Education USA Mexico and Education USA throughout the region so that you may go ahead and join in case that you don't log in through our Zoom. Now, today we have our third showcase, an accessible path to a U.S. bachelor's degree, a 2+2 program, which is a very good opportunity for all of our international students that would like to know a little bit more about this particular program that most universities have when it comes to having access to a bachelor's degree. Today, we have the pleasure of participating universities and community colleges. This will be our roundup organization. We have Chemeketa Community College, Portland University, Snow College, Northwestern Missouri State University, Northampton Community College, Global Penn State. So that at any given moment, you can go ahead and type in the question. So I will provide you to the information. You can look for Q&A, Elvira Castillo, on the chat box, and you may go ahead and address any of the given questions. This is the format that we would like you to follow if you have a question for today. If it is for one institution or for both, make sure that first you write down the name of the institution, followed by the question as you see there on our slide. Then provide your name and also your email address so that at the end of each intervention, each representative can address and answer your query. If we do not have a time to answer your question, we will provide your email address and the questions to the representative, and they will get back to you. So do not worry. So make sure that you type in those questions and go ahead. Now, what is Education USA? Education USA, it's a Department of State network from the U.S. Department Bureau of Educational and Cultural Affairs. We provide information to all of those international students around the globe that want to know more about the process, requirement, procedures, documentations necessary to apply to any of the 4,700 universities and 1,100 plus colleges that are accredited in the United States. Uh, we are we have about 430 centers around the globe, and we are present in more than 175 countries. Make sure that you are able to find information uh, through our web pages. Now, our main target are international students, and we are the main bridge of US institutions and universities with those institutions in the countries wherever Education USA is present or local educational institutions. Now, what are some of the services that we provide? And this is a common question that we usually get from a lot of our advisees and a lot of the students that approach our office. We do provide accurate, current, and comprehensive information about all the accredited institutions of higher learning in the United States. We provide informative sessions, one-on-one webinars, workshops, showcases, as we are doing today and we have done throughout the week, seminars. We participate in mobility fairs and educational fairs. Because of the contingency of the pandemic at this moment, we are not at our center. So all of our advising is done virtually so that we can protect you, your health, and the well-being of ourselves as well. So make sure that you can write or you can go to educationusa.state.gov to find the nearest center in your city. In our centers, we are located usually at embassies, consulates, Fulbright commissions, by national centers, universities, nonprofit organizations, and we have official guides, books, so that you can look at that university that is the right one for you. We have guides and materials for you guys to research. But just remember that at this moment our centers are closed. So you have to bear with us and understand that the information that we can provide online is free. Okay. We usually do outreach and visit schools and universities so that they can also have access to the information. So just know that everything right now is being conducted virtually. Now, just a briefing on community colleges. A community college is a,
Thank you, Jackson. I will
I'm sorry,
continue with that. Thank you very much.
you're
My
welcome.
colleague Jackson Cruz is Education USA Advisor in Nicaragua, and my name is Marta Beltran, Education USA Advisor in Mexico, Mexico City. So welcome again. And for those that have been following us in this showcase the other two previous days, and you have been also hearing from this information, but for sure we have more people. That is the first day in the showcase. So we briefly will talk about community colleges and the four-year institutions. We have found that a lot of our advisees, they don't know about community colleges. They don't know about this model, the 2+2, that you can transfer to a four-year college if you want to earn a bachelor degree. So community colleges are two-year public institutions. And they are offering lower tuition prices for international students. And usually, well, the 2 years for both, if you can see in your screen, also for the four-year institutions that you will find named as universities, colleges, and the two first years will general education. In a community college, you will earn an associate degree in of arts, associate of science, and as well of applied sciences. But if you want to continue the four-year model to earn a bachelor's degree, then you can transfer from those community colleges to the four-year institution and earn a bachelor's of arts if you were earning an associate of arts, and so on. The associate of science, then you will continue in order to earn a bachelor's of science. We can continue with the next. In the next slide, we will see more information about the community colleges and the university four-year institution. The community college as well will offer to all of you smaller classes size. Our representatives of today, they will go through the details and more information very specific from their institutions. And as well, due to that, you will get more individualized attention, more personalized because of the size of the classes. It's an affordable pathway to a four-year institution. You will see that. And as well, they will offer to you different academic programs. One of those is a high school completion plus, and that is offer to high school students. Another one is the English as a second language, ESL. You will also be able to improve your English language. A career training. So you can see on your screen some of the information, and the skills is more skills based, and they will talk more about that. And the topic of today, another program, which is a 2+2 program that they can offer to you. Here is a more visual image, so you can understand more how it works. So you can see, if you start at a community college, you will be studying year 1 and year 2, and that is the general education courses, and you earn that associate degree. Then in year 3, if you decide to then transfer to a 4-year university or college, a 4-year institution, then there you will be joining that class, and there you will have the major courses that are more related to the area of your study. And then after the third and the 4th year of study at the 4-year institution, you will be able to earn your bachelor degree. And these are the requirements. So as you can see, at a community college and at a 4-year institution, you will find that they will ask for this online application, and they will be also asking for an application fee, and that it's different in all the institutions, and your transcripts. The English proficiency test, you will have different requirements at a 4-year institution, depending on the university and college, depending on the score that they are requiring for their institutions. In a community college, it's very common that they can accept the people that has intermediate level of English. At a university college, if you want to start at a 4-year institution, then there are more requirements in order to start your studies in the US. And it's the standardized admission tests, such as ACT, SAT. You can ask as well our representatives of today, how is it working at their institutions? Letters of recommendation, usually from your teachers, your professors, essays, and a portfolio for those that are interested in visual arts. It can be also design and architecture. They will require a portfolio, not to anyone, but in certain areas of study. So now we will introduce our first partners. I'm pleased, thank you very much to William Velez. He is Assistant Director, International Recruitment and Admissions at Chemeketa Community College, followed by Anoksha, and she's Senior International Admissions Counselor in Portland State University. Thank you very much and welcome.
Thank you, Martha. Thank you so much. Es un placer el estar aquí con ustedes. It's a very big pleasure for us to be here with you guys today and speaking a little bit about our universities and our 2+2 model. As it was said, my name is William Velez, and I'm the Assistant Director for International Recruitment and Admissions at Chemeketa Community College in Salem, Oregon. We're located on the west coast of the United States. And so I'm going to share with you a presentation today from both of us that will hopefully give you some ideas of some of the things that we're going to be talking about. My institution is a community college, and it's located in the West Coast. We have, we serve a number of international students, usually from about 40 different countries that come to us, who are seeking often an opportunity to either learn English or continue on to a 4-year institution. And we, through this 2+2 model, have an opportunity for them to continue on in their education. We offer over 120 different programs of study, both technical programs as well as that transfer program into the next institution and intensive English education as well. And I will give Anuksha a chance to introduce herself to you before we go over our agenda.
Thank you, Will. So my name is Anuksha Gardner, and I'm from Portland State University. I'm also in the state of Oregon. The university is an urban institution. We're located in downtown Portland. We're about less than an hour away from Chemeketa. And Portland State is a public research university. We have about 2,000 international students from all over the world. And we do get a lot of transfer students, which is really great because, you know, you can get experience and get an education at both the institutions, which we'll talk about more today.
Great. So for our time, we would like to talk to you a little bit about that 2+2 model, what it is, and what does the model look like, and then some of the benefits of starting at the community college. What is this idea of co-admission? And then we'll talk a little bit more specifically about the Chemeketa and PSU agreement, and then we'll have an opportunity for you to ask us some questions. And because our time is brief, we want to make sure we dive in right away, and we will start telling you a little bit about that 2+2 model. As Martha was saying earlier, it's a partnership that's developed between the community colleges and the 4U universities that allows specific pathway benefits for international students. So when you start at the community college as a student, you're able to take those first 2 years of your education, those the first two, and allow you to complete that education for those first 2 years, then transfer on to the next university to complete the last 2 years of the program. Again, that's why we say 2+2. So you have an opportunity to complete your bachelor's degree in that 4-year time that it would have taken you if you had gone directly into a 4-year institution. Students are provided often conditional admissions into that next university so that when you begin your academic program, you already have a clear path towards that completion of the bachelor's degree.
So, you know, the way it works is a student applies to a community college. And then once you're admitted, you get a conditional offer from the university, who would be a partner. And then once you earn an associate's degree at the community college, you can transfer, and most of all your classes will transfer over. And then you only have 2 more years to finish at the university. So once you complete your academic program at the university, you earn a bachelor's degree. So you can earn both an associate's degree and a bachelor's degree with the 2+2 model.
So some of these benefits of starting at the community college were mentioned earlier, but we want to go over those a little bit more. So one of the first things that that students think about when they're starting to consider the idea of coming to study in the United States is the cost of schooling. Obviously, in each of your countries, the cost of school perhaps may seem a little bit overwhelming when you think about having to convert your currency into US dollars. So the community colleges provide a very, very strong opportunity for you to begin and save significant amount of money by starting those first 2 years at the community college. So our cost of school tends to be a lot lower, and we will share with you a little bit further in our presentation some examples of the cost between Chemeketa and Portland State University so that you have an idea of what these cost savings could look like. Often also community colleges provide you an ease of admissions in the process. Our application process is very simple at my institution. For example, all we require from a student is a copy of their application, bank statement, a copy of your passport, and your transcripts that show that you have completed high school by the time you come to start school with us. Normally, our application admission decision, it's about 24 to 48 hours after you've submitted all of your documents to us. So it doesn't take very long, and you don't have to provide a lot of documentation, including test scores. We don't require a TOEFL or an SAT, ACT, or an IELTS score because my institution provides intensive English, and you're able to be accepted into the institution to take all of your education, regardless of where you need to start. Like it was mentioned earlier as well, we have smaller class sizes. Often, a lot of our general education courses are very, very small, giving you an opportunity to connect with your faculty and talk to your professors, answer your questions, and at the same time have a smaller environment where you can actually connect with other students too. We have articulated classes with the four-year university, so many of these courses that you're taking would be similar courses that you're going to be taking at the four-year institution. In most of the cases, the same requirements. Here in the state of Oregon, we've done a really great job at developing our curriculum that goes from the two-year institutions to the four-year institutions, where the sequences of courses will be the same for all of our institutions. And so often you will find that if you come to one school, you would be taking the same class that someone else is taking already at the four-year institution as well during those first 2 years. Like I mentioned earlier, we don't require a TOEFL or an IELTS because we have already at our institution intensive English preparation available to you. And because of that, often what happens is that that next institution will also waive your intensive English requirement because you've already earned about an associate's degree at the first institution at the community college. And so this allows for some students who get nervous on testing and are worried about some of these opportunities to be able to start at the community college and not have to present those tests and then continue on under their associate's degree and then transfer on to the next institution without having to take those standardized tests as well. Often what people think about when they think about community college is that they think that it's a lower quality education. But that is not the case at all. On the contrary, many of our institutions have the same professors teach at both the community college and at the four-year institution, which allows you then to have connections already as you think about transferring onto that next school, to have already connections developed with that same faculty that you're going to have at the four-year institution. Sometimes we hire professors part-time, like for example, in our engineering program. And they would come in and teach the exact same class at Chemeketa as they would teach it at Portland State or at any other university in our area. And then that course just continues to be transferred, but it would cost differently at every institution. And like I said earlier, as well, you will have an opportunity to have connections and access with those faculty, but also with the advisors at the four-year institutions who are going to be making sure that your academic plan is continuing on successfully.
So like Will said, I want to add that one of the benefits also is that, you know, the English proficiency, if you transfer with an associate's, at Portland State specifically, we won't ask for TOEFL or IELTS. So your credits and your associate's degree would cover the English proficiency requirement. We also wouldn't ask for your high school transcripts. We would only look at your college transcripts. So co-admission is when a student is admitted at both the schools. So you're admitted at Chemeketa and Portland State as well. You can either choose to take classes at both the institutions at the same time, or you can finish classes at one institution and then, you know, take remaining at the other institution. A benefit of doing co-admission is that, you know, your transcripts are automatically sent to the partner institution, and then, you know, you get access to both the institutions equally.
So here's how our partnership currently works between Chemeketa and Portland State University. So we have some joint materials for marketing that tells students a little bit about this opportunity of studying both at both institutions and or starting at one institution and then continuing on to the next one. For example, when a student applies to Chemeketa, you will receive an acceptance letter from Chemeketa, but you will also have a conditional acceptance letter into Portland State University, which will allow you again to demonstrate that clear path between the community college and the four-year institution. This is particularly helpful to you when you're thinking about applying for your student visa and being able to demonstrate a clear plan of your academic goals, that you're coming in to complete a bachelor's degree in engineering, for example, but you're not just coming to the community college, you already have envisioned a plan to continue on and earn that bachelor's degree, knowing what the next step after Chemeketa would be for you. And so we provide that conditional acceptance letter that's hugely beneficial to you. Like Nuksha explained, you also have the opportunity of taking classes at both institutions, taking simultaneously courses at Chemeketa as well as Portland State University. Because of our agreement and our proximity, like Nuksha said, we have about an hour distance from each other's campuses. So it's not really that far away to drive or to take classes virtually at both institutions. Once you complete your associate's degree at Chemeketa, then you would receive junior status at Portland State University. And you would not need to demonstrate a TOEFL or an IELTS score or any other English proficiency, because you would be providing them with your transcripts from Chemeketa that show that you have successfully completed your education in English at a community college at our institution specifically. Our credits are well articulated so that by the time you come to Chemeketa, your academic plan will be a clear plan continuing on to the next institution. You will have successfully the opportunity to transfer all of your credits. You will finish those first 2 years and then be able to continue the next 2 years of your education at Portland State, which would allow you then to have access to both your advisors from Chemeketa and your advisors from Portland State in order to make sure that that academic plan, that program that you're planning to complete is actually going on successfully, and that you're taking the right courses, that you're completing the right education in order to, at the end of those 4 years, earn that bachelor's degree. The Portland State recruiters are actually on our campus very often when we're not in COVID time, of course. Our students are able to meet with them on a regular basis, start talking about that academic plan from the moment you get to Chemeketa. And so you can start thinking and devising that plan and continuing to look and revise your documents and make sure that everything's ready to go, so that by the time you complete that associate's degree, you're ready to just transfer on to that next institution, which is a huge, huge benefit to students as you're thinking about, okay, what do I do next? And time flies by rather quickly. Then there's also the opportunity for you to earn scholarships. You'll have opportunities to apply for scholarships at Chemeketa as well as Portland State. And Portland State would look at your transcripts and at your information from Chemeketa in order to determine your eligibility and opportunities then for those scholarships there. As we said, we wanted to kind of give you an opportunity to get a little bit more of an understanding on the cost savings piece, the lower cost of tuition for the community college, as well as that of the four-year institution. So at Chemeketa, for example, right now for our academic year, our cost of tuition is $11,400 US. That's the cost for 9 full months of study, so 3 terms of education. It's probably important that we mention to you that here in the West Coast, we're in the quarter system, which means that you're going to be taking classes every 3 months. Will be a start of a new term for us. So you will be switching classes every 3 months during the school year. And so you will have the opportunity to take your tuition courses, your tuition cost for the full 9 months at $11,400 here at Chemeketa. And then our total cost for cost of living, housing, insurance, food and transportation, books, and all of your costs for a year, we estimated at about $21,200 for the full year. And that's including the 12 months of living in the United States here in our city.
As for Portland State, the tuition and fees for one academic year, so 3 quarters, fall, winter, and spring, is about $28,000. And then the total cost, which includes living on campus, you don't have to live on campus, but that's an option. If you did live on campus with personal spending, everything included, the total cost comes up to be about $45,000. It's a lot, and that's why it's beneficial to finish, your associates 2 years at a community college and then transfer to a 4-year institution. We'll mention scholarships before. We do have scholarships for transfer students. We have merit-based scholarships. So at the time of your application, you can be considered for up to $10,000 in scholarship money. And we'll only be looking at your transfer credits. So if you've done well in Chemeketa, you will be getting scholarship at Portland State. We also have, specific international scholarships, which you can apply for once you've already started at PSU. One thing that's really nice is that you can stack scholarships. So if you received a merit-based scholarship, let's say $10,000, and you received an academic or an international scholarship, all of that will add up and stay with you till you finish your 2 years at the institution.
At my institution, we do provide scholarships for students as well for that beginning of your education. But normally those scholarships, you can apply for them February after you have started. So usually those scholarships for us apply more towards your second year of schooling. And those can range anything from $500 all the way to $4,000 that can go towards your tuition. Other ways that perhaps we haven't mentioned that can help you save some money as well towards your education are applying for a job on campus once we resume our on-campus study. That could also allow you to save a little bit of money while at the same time getting some experience. You can only do that as an international student on campus. So you could only work at our institutions, but there's many different job opportunities that can give you an experience, can give you earn a little bit of money, but also continue to enhance your experience and your education in the United States. At my institution, we do hire students usually for about 10 hours a week. That would allow you to, if you were doing that at the same time during your schooling, can earn you about $3,000 towards your tuition during the 9 months of study. And you could potentially work a little more during the summers as well, or you could return home. But there is ways for you to save some money as well that perhaps we are not always thinking about. But scholarships, some work on campus can help you reduce some of these costs. And as we were mentioning, I don't know if you're noticing, but even if you get a scholarship at a four-year institution, even a very generous scholarship of about 50% of your tuition, you're still paying a lot less money at the community college to start your education. And that's usually why we say that it's a lower cost for you. You would save a lot more money by starting the first 2 years without compromising on your education, without compromising on the quality of and the value of what you're receiving, by starting at the community college and then transferring on to continue that education while you can continue to also enhance your academic performance and your experiences, and then continue on to that four-year institution, apply for those scholarships before you go there, and continue to save even more money as well by reducing the cost of that tuition at that four-year institution. Many students are very creative, which is also a very, very great thing, because often you start discovering that you can perhaps meet people at the community college that may be transferring on to that next institution. And that happens quite often for a lot of our students at Chemeketa who are thinking about going on to Portland State University. And the way that this is beneficial to you is that often those students will start developing those friendships and those relationships here at Chemeketa and start thinking about, okay, well, we're gonna move to Portland State University. Now we gotta look at where are we going to live? And often the students can also start thinking about renting a place together, which will save them money. They will split the cost of their tuition, of their cost of living, which will then continue to reduce the cost of what each student has to pay out of pocket in order to be successful at attending that next institution. So there is many, many ways of being creative and continuing to save money as well when you start looking at these pathways that perhaps are benefits that we don't necessarily account for or measure for you.
I agree. I joined Portland State as a freshman, and I wish I had gone, did a 2+2 model, because, you get, if you attend community college, since it's smaller class sizes, it really helps you understand the academics and how the system works in the US. And when you come to college, when you come to a university, like a four-year institution, you're prepared, and you're not just like, you're not surprised with what is thrown at you. So it's a really beneficial model to be a part of.
And another thing I really like about that too is the fact that you have a lot of opportunities for extracurricular activities that continue to build on your skills, that continue to push you a little bit further into growing and developing yourself as a student, as an academic learner, but also give you an opportunity to try a few things without losing time, without wasting your time in your education, to perhaps gain some leadership skills, to continue to explore areas of interest for you in the arts, in the sciences, or in any of the different curricular programs that we offer. Because the community colleges are so diverse and have so many different opportunities for you, you also have opportunities to take courses that perhaps actually enhance your skills and your learning on something that's particularly related to the trades, like welding, or perhaps you might learn how to use a 3D printer. You may get involved in some science courses that may teach you some unique things about biology or even viticulture. Chemeketa offers a wine studies program. So there are people that come to us thinking that they want to learn the whole process of how to create wine, how to produce it, how to bottle it, and how to do many other things like that are technical and practical for students. And all of that kind of opportunity enhances your education, enhances your knowledge before you transfer onto that four-year institution to complete your full bachelor's degree. Well, we want to thank you for listening to us. At this point, we would like to give you an opportunity for some questions. So we're going to turn it into our moderators to help us navigate those questions.
Thanks a lot, William and Anushka, for this very valuable information. We have a couple of questions about scholarships. So if you can talk a little bit about what is the profile of students that get merit scholarships at your institutions, that would be great.
So at the community college, the way that we look at your scholarships is, like I mentioned, you're going to be applying for those scholarships after you start classes here. So they're going to be looking at your transcripts from Chemeketa, how you've been doing on those courses. They're not necessarily looking at a specific grade in order to award you a scholarship. They're going to be looking at an essay that you're going to write. They're going to look at that transcript. And then they're going to look at any other areas of extracurricular involvement that you have at the school in order to decide on how much money they would want to award you if they decide to award you a scholarship. And so they will decide on all of that for you. And it's not just academically based, but it's going to be also a combination of your involvement in extracurriculars as well as your academic performance.
At Portland State, if when you apply and you're applying with an associate's degree, we want you to have a GPA of 3.0 and up, because to be admitted, we ask that you have a 2.5 GPA. So if you have a 3.0 and up, you will automatically, once you apply and send in your academic transcripts from the school that you attended, you'll be considered for our merit-based scholarship. The merit-based scholarship from our office, you can get up to $10,000, which will stay with you for the 2 years that you're expected to be at the university. And then there are other scholarships that you can apply for, which are not basically merit, but more academic, or could be, from your major, or could be diversity scholarship. Most of our international student scholarships are cultural and retention scholarships. So for those, there are separate applications. They'll ask for letters of recommendation. They'll ask to see, your involvement in different activities, your all-around work. All of that will play into factor for those. So for the merit, we'll only look at your academic work, and for the other international specific scholarship, we'll look at what you've done, your essay, and such. So it really depends on which scholarship you apply for. But initially, when you do think about transferring, you will be considered for a scholarship from my office.
Great, thank you. There is another question. There is someone asking about the online programs. if for your institutions, is there any full online programs, not just because of the COVID right now, but a normal or regular online program that allows you to transfer the credits in your institutions?
Yes, of course. And so one of the things that I was very excited about when COVID started, we already had an infrastructure and courses fully available online for our students, which made our transition process for Chemeketa a little bit smoother. So yeah, most of our associate's degree programs are actually fully available online to you, not just because of COVID, but have always been. And so if you come to our institution, you could potentially do that from home as well if you so desired, where you could continue those first 2 years online and then transfer on to Portland State or any of our universities in the state to continue that education, and those credits will transfer with you smoothly as well.
Yeah, I mean, sorry, as Will said, we do have online courses and we would accept online academic work from a two-year institution.
Okay, great. And there is just one more question about the conditional acceptance letter. If you can explain a little bit what is the condition to get like full acceptance?
Mm-hmm. So often the way that we work this out, and this is an agreement, and perhaps other conditional admission letters may be different for other institutions, but in the agreement between Portland State and Chemeketa Community College, that conditional acceptance letter states that you will be fully admissible into Portland State as long as you do well academically and meet those requirements that they normally have for admission for their institution, which, as Anuksha said earlier, it's to have a minimum of a 2.5 GPA on your transcripts and your grades from Chemeketa that will allow you then to transfer on to their institution. So you would have to have done academically well at my institution before you can transfer on. And there is the conditional piece of that. They will give you the opportunity to come to their school as long as you do well with us, because you still have to be academically progressing and completing your education and being successful at it in order to earn that bachelor's degree, no matter whether you go to a community college or a four-year institution. So that conditional piece is just a way for you to know that you would be admissible to Portland State University as long as you meet those minimum requirements that they would have. I can tell you, for example, that at Chemeketa, 65% or more of our students would actually do really, really well, enough that they would be awarded merit scholarships at much higher GPAs than the minimum requirement of a 3.0. So most of them usually average at anywhere between a 3.6 to a 3.75 GPA. And so then you're able to transfer on pretty easily with the guarantees that you've done well academically, and then we'll be able to continue on at that next institution.
Great, thank you. Just because of time, we don't have more time to ask you more questions, but we will make sure that if there is other students with any doubts, we'll let you know, and so they can also contact you and they can have all the questions answered by you. Thank you very much.
Great. Thank you so much for the time.
Thank you, William, and thank you so much, Anuska, for so much great resources that you have provided and helpful information for our international students. We highly appreciate your collaboration and the time you have taken to be with us this evening. So thank you so much.
Our pleasure. Thank you.
With no further ado, we also have our next panelist. We have Mr. Vincent Avid, Assistant Director of the Center for Global Engagement from Snow College, and Dr. Phil Hall, Director of the International Center of Northwest Missouri State University. So I want to give you a warm welcome, and the panel is yours.
Right. Hey, Jackson, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
For some reason, my video isn't showing. I've got my camera on, but it's not showing. Not that I need it, and people probably don't want to see my face anyway, but I just thought I'd mention that. So I don't know if that's something on your end or possibly mine, but
But we can see your presentation, but it's okay. We will deal with our technical issues. So
Okay.
thank you so much. No problem.
Yeah. All right.
Great. Thanks, Dr. Phil. Thank you, Jackson and Education USA team. Hola a todos. Bienvenidos. Gracias para asistir a nuestra presentación hoy. My name is Wissam Abid. I am the Assistant Director of the Center for Global Engagement here at Snow College in the state of Utah. We are located in central Utah, 2 hours away from Salt Lake City, the capital. So Phil, can you yeah, the presentation, can you make
move it? Can you see the slide?
Yeah, but can you
okay. Oh, do you want me to introduce myself?
Yes.
Sorry. Sorry. I'm Dr. Phil, and I'm the director of the International Center at Northwest Missouri State University. We are located in Maryville, Missouri, just north of Kansas City, Missouri. And for any of you football fans out there, if you're going to watch the Super Bowl this weekend, root for the Chiefs. So that's what I've got to say. All right.
Okay, good. So
okay.
Okay.
Oh. Are you gonna? Okay.
Okay, perfect. All right, so our presentation will be the same thing, so about 2+2 system, how to transfer from a community college, what are the benefits of community college. I think my colleagues in the previous presentation talked about the benefits, as well as Education USA advisors. They explained to you what's community college, so to save time and to avoid repetition. So we're gonna go to the infographic slide, if you can go to that one.
Okay. I'm not, for some reason, I'm not able to advance anymore. Somebody else is sharing a screen and I've lost my ability to
Okay, let me share my screen then.
To move it. I don't know what happened.
Okay, it's fine.
Okay, here, hold on, let me go back.
Stop sharing and I'll share mine.
Okay, all right.
Can you see my screen?
Yeah, now go down and hit the, there we go. Go ahead and hit the slideshow. There we go.
Okay, perfect. So as I said, so sorry for the technical issue. As I said, my previous colleagues talked about community college. So basically it's a post-secondary institution. So you go to community college after you finish your high school in your local high school in your country. And then when you come, you start with a community college. And then after that, you transfer. To give you a better picture of the 2+2 model, we have an infographic for those who are visual learners, so this will explain better the idea of the 2+2 and a community college. So basically, you apply to a community college, in this case, Snow College, so you do the first 2 years of education, and then you transfer to any school in the US, and then you graduate with a bachelor degree. So remember in the presentation by Education USA, so bachelor degree is 4 years. So instead of doing the 4 years at one university, you just come to community college for the first 2 years, and then you transfer. When you transfer, all these credits you take here, all the classes you take at a community college. Let's say you're studying business administration and you want to get a bachelor in business administration. So you come to a community college, you take general education courses, which are required for getting a bachelor degree in the US, regardless your major. And then you take some courses, foundation courses in business administration, and then you transfer. When you transfer to Northwest Missouri University from Snow College, all the credits you take here, they will transfer with you. So that means you will not repeat what you have taken here. So you're not gonna waste your time or money. You just go for the third year and then fourth year, and then you get your bachelor degree from Northwest Missouri State University, like anybody else. Let's say, for example, one of your friends would go to North Missouri State University for the first year, and then the other friend will go here then 2 years, and then after the 2 years, you will be together in the same level, third year, and then after the second 2 years, you graduate. So that's why we call them 2+2. At the end of the day, you get a bachelor degree, the same degree any other university would offer in the United States. So the benefits here, you save money because it's more affordable, it's cheaper than going to a university. Another benefit also, the small class size, the small size of the college itself will help you to understand the system, to adjust, to understand the academic culture, the classroom culture, to know your teachers. They will know you by name. You're not just a number, or you're not just a student sitting there. That would give you like more confidence, more more confidence to interact with your teacher, to ask questions, to visit them in their office hours. So this will help you to have like a strong background. So whenever you are ready to transfer, you will be able to succeed in any university, no matter what the size of the university is. Another thing also very important to go to a community college first is to you can have like more opportunities in terms of employment on campus, less competition like big universities. You can also have more access to clubs, to other scholarships, because you will stand out and you will be more visible than being in a big university. So Snow College is a community college located in the state of Utah. We have been around for more than 100 years. So we have a long history of excellent academic performance in the US. Actually, we are top 10 community college in the United States, the safest campus in the state of Utah, and the number one college in student success last year. We have agreements with different universities in the state of Utah and then in other states. And today we are presenting with one of our partners, Northwest Missouri State University. This is our location for those who did not know or who have never been to Utah. So it's between Colorado and Nevada, right above Arizona in the southwest of the United States. Some of the academic programs we offer: ESL program, business administration, engineering, computer science, software engineering. One thing unique about Snow College, we do have associate degrees, which are degrees for 2 years, but we also offer bachelor degrees, 2 of them actually, one business, one in music and business combination, commercial music, and then one in software engineering. So if you are studying software engineering, you can do your bachelor degree at Snow College. We have more than 70 different programs. These are just examples. And then also we have a good ASL program, English as a second language. So if you do not have the TOEFL exam, or if you don't have the IELTS, you can apply to Snow College, and then you can get a conditional admission. We can give you like placement tests. Let's say if you need more English, you can take our intensive English courses here at Snow, and then after finishing that, you start your academic courses. So that's another option for those who do not have the English proficiency when they apply. This is the tuition and cost. It's a very important slide for most of you, I think, and especially for parents. You need to know how much it costs. So usually the myth is it's expensive to go and to study in the US. It's not always the case, and this is one of the benefits of going to a community college first. It saves you money. It's not always expensive. So the total cost for 1 year at Snow College is $19,000. That includes tuition, room and board, living expenses, and then health insurance. So 19,000, that's 1 year of education and living expenses at Snow College. The good news, and this is unique, we do offer good scholarships at Snow College. We offer $5,000 and $3,000. So if you get the $5,000, your total cost will be $14,000. So it's no longer $19,000 because most of our students get the $5,000. It's academic. It's an academic scholarship, so it's merit-based. So if you have good grades and extracurricular activities, I encourage you to apply for this scholarship, and then your total will be $14,000. That includes everything. So 14,000 todo incluido, colegiatura, alojamiento, seguro médico, todo incluido, libros también, 14,000 por año. Housing, we have housing on campus, so you can live on campus for $1,000 per semester. That's pretty much like 4 months for $1,000. And it's included in the total cost that I just mentioned. You can also live off campus if you prefer to rent your own apartment. We have apartments for students also in town, so you can choose to do that. These are some pictures of the college. So the name is Snow. It doesn't mean that we have snow every day. It's last name of the person who founded the college in 1888. Many years ago, so that's why we call it Snow. However, we do get snow, so it's snowing now actually because we have the 4 seasons in Utah. So these are the summer time. It's a beautiful campus. It's very safe. You have all the facilities and equipment to succeed. Very welcoming community as well. One more thing to mention about Snow College, we offer also a degree online, so you can take all the classes online. You don't have to come here if because of COVID, or if you prefer to stay home and save more money, that would be even more affordable. So it's about $3,500 to get like 1 year of online classes. $3,500 that for tuition and fees. For 1 year of 24 credits per year. So that's another opportunity for those who have limited budget and want to have an American education. They can contact us and they can sign up for online classes, and they don't have to study here on campus. Also, we have athletic scholarships. We have soccer, volleyball, basketball, and American football. If you are interested in playing soccer with our team or basketball, you can contact me and I can connect you with a coach. We have very good athletic scholarship, so it can go all the way up to full ride, so you don't have to pay anything if you are a good player, but you have to talk to the coach first. So these are some of the opportunities at Snow College, and then once you finish with us, you get an associate degree, and then after you getting your associate degree, you can transfer to Northwest Missouri State University. We have sent many students, and some of them are from Latin America, and they have been doing really well there, and it's a good option also because the price is pretty similar to Snow College, and they offer a lot of opportunities to you as well. Some pictures of Utah before we take you to Missouri.
All right. Thank you very much, Wisam. Can everybody hear me okay? If Wisam can hear me, I guess I'll assume everybody. Okay, good.
Yes,
so at least we got the
can.
audio working. That's good. Again, I think some of this information that you hear from all of the institutions with our transfer partnerships is going to be very similar in nature, but we're located in the Midwest. And I think I've got a map coming up here in just a little bit so you can see where we are located. So we're in the very center of the country. If you put your finger in the very middle of the United States, chances are you're going to get very close to Maryville, Missouri. One of the things that I tell students who are at community colleges or thinking about a 2+2 transfer program is that an advantage of doing a 2+2 is geography. You have an opportunity to live in and study in 2 different parts of the United States. So you could spend some time in the mountain states like Utah, spend some time on the coast, and then go to the Midwest, go to a big city environment, and then a small rural community. But we were recently ranked #1 public university in Missouri. We are in a small town. Maryville has about 12,000 people, and then our student body is about 7,500 students. And being in a small community, the cost of living is very low. I think when you see our off-campus housing opportunities, you'll see that they're very much in line with what Wisam shared at Snow College. Very affordable, much different than living like in the San Francisco Bay Area where I grew up, or living out in the Boston area where my sister resides. We are able to accept transfers from any accredited community college. Can you go back, Wisam, one slide? Sorry. And then I'll also highlight some scholarships, and then on-campus housing. And then also, we are unusual in US universities that we have a textbook and laptop rental program. So when you see our tuition and fees, it really is a what you see is what you get cost, because the textbooks for all of your classes are embedded in that. And then we also have a 3-year rotation on Hewlett-Packard Ultrabook laptops. So you get all the hardware and software that you need for all of your coursework. Okay, next slide. So this very quickly shows our location. Like I said earlier, we are about an hour and a half north of Kansas City. That is the airport where we pick students up prior to orientation. And like I said, Maryville is a small town, so we are surrounded by farmland. We actually do have a strong agriculture program and have a working farm on campus, and we're currently building a new ag center at that farm. Okay, next slide, please, Wisam. Okay, university transfer. It's a very, very easy application process. I think one of the things that you'll notice is that our presentation and the one previous, very similar in terms of the application process. You fill out a transfer request form to have your visa, to have your I-20 transferred from, for example, Snow College to Northwest. We can offer the same opportunity of a guaranteed letter of admission that says if you meet these criteria, you will automatically be admitted into Northwest to complete your bachelor's degree. All of your general education credits are fulfilled. And nice thing about a 2+2 program is that there tend to be more flexible application deadlines, because you can just simply continue on, remain in the States, and continue on with your education. You get support from 2 schools, and of course you are able to complete 2 degrees in 4 years. Another advantage that I don't think has been mentioned yet is that getting that associate's degree allows you to have a year of OPT before you start your bachelor's, or if you are in a STEM field, you can do 3 years of OPT with the STEM extension before then starting your bachelor's degree. After your bachelor's degree, then you can have yet another year of OPT, or 3 years with that STEM extension, and get that work experience without having to either return home or get an H-1B work visa to remain in the US. Okay. All right. Very quickly, some of the academic programs we have. I think if you remember the slide that Wisam showed, very similar in terms of the opportunities. And so that really, I think, stresses some of the benefits of our alliance with them. For example, computer science. We have computer science, which is basically software engineering, information systems, data sciences, and also cyber. Full range of business, communication studies, like I mentioned, agriculture with our working farm, graphic design, which is a very popular major. We also have one of the few nanoscale science majors at the undergraduate level at Northwest, and also an emergency and disaster management program, as well as a geographic information systems major. One of the things that I will also mention, you see the master's programs down there. I should note that we no longer have an in-person MBA, but for our master's programs, we do have accelerated master's programs. So you may finish your bachelor's and your master's degree in computer science, information systems, English, or applied health with simply 1 additional year of graduate coursework, because you begin your graduate studies during your final year of your bachelor's degree. And again, like Wisam said, this is not the full range of our offerings. We have over 125 bachelor's level programs of study. Okay. Okay, our transfer scholarships. There are 3 transfer scholarships that I want to highlight. The first two, there is no application deadline. The application deadline for our scholarships is the same as our application deadline for admission. We have two intakes. So if you're looking for fall of this coming year, then that deadline is the 15th of June. But being a transfer student, if you are at a school and you're still thinking or you haven't applied yet, we can usually accept applications as late as around August 1st and still, kind of together through our relationship with our community college partners like SNO. These first two scholarships, the Northwest International Achievement and the Merit Award, they are based solely on your grade point average. So our minimum requirement for transfer admissions from a community college is a 2.0 GPA, a C average on a 4-point scale. But if you have a 3.0, a B average, from a community college, you will automatically receive 2 scholarships. The first scholarship you will is around $7,000, and that's the difference because we are a public university. We have out-of-state or non-resident tuition, and we have in-state or Missouri resident tuition, and you would be paying resident tuition. So that gives you a discount of about $7,000. And then the Merit Award, that's going to vary depending on your grades at the community college. $1,000 if you have 3.0 to 329, $1,500 if you have 3.3 to 349, and then if you have a 3.5 GPA or higher, you will be awarded a $2,500 scholarship. The other thing that I would encourage you to do if you are exploring a 2+2 program is look for community colleges that are members of Phi Theta Kappa. It is a community college honorary, and if you are an exceptional student and you graduate with a 3.50 GPA or higher, there are a lot of universities across the United States. Northwest is one of them that have Phi Theta Kappa or PTK scholarships. Some of them are 1 semester and not as high as ours, but we will award you $3,500 instead of the $2,500 if you apply by February 1st. So you have to kind of be on the ball and get your application in early, but the benefit of that obviously is more award money. Next slide. Okay, and this gives a breakdown of our costs. So if you look at the very bottom, the total with scholarships, that is our I-20 cost. That is an all-inclusive cost. That includes tuition and fees. Like I said, it includes a laptop and textbooks. I put down off-campus living expenses instead of on-campus housing because many of our transfer students choose to live off campus. It's less expensive by the time they transfer here. They're used to renting an apartment. They're used to doing their own grocery shopping, and they don't necessarily need that sort of initial introduction to university life and living on campus. The other nice thing about Maryville, given its size, is it's very easy to walk to campus and still feel very engaged with the campus culture. And so as you can see with the scholarship totals, an annual cost.
30 seconds.
Yep. An annual cost at Northwest is very much in line with what you might see at a lot of community colleges around the United States. Okay, Wisam, next slide. Okay, go ahead, next slide. I kind of covered a lot of that. And then some slides of Northwest. We do have an International Flag Plaza, and you can see the aerial shot of campus. And next slide. I think we might be done. So next slide, I think. Thank you. And off we go to the contacts page. So, questions?
Yes, thank you very much. We have a very interesting question that could be for any of you, actually. And they are asking about this cooperation between institutions. Could students also transfer to other institutions? If you are a university, do you accept the students that come from other community colleges? If you are a community college, can you go to another university? Or the transfer can only happen among institutions that already have how
An
to say,
alliance.
an MOU and an
Yeah,
alliance,
right.
yes. So can you explain
Yes.
a little bit about that?
Yes. The advantages to alliances is typically there's a little bit more contact between the admissions offices and oftentimes advising, but students who start out at a community college such as Snow, they can transfer to any four-year university in the United States. Of course, the main thing to look at is make sure that they're accredited. The other thing that you might want to do is if that alliance does not exist, you might want to make sure very early on that the courses you're taking at that community college will indeed transfer. Public universities tend to have a lot more latitude in the credits that will transfer in. When you start to get to private colleges and universities, they might not be, they might not articulate, they might not transfer in as many of the courses and at least have them match up like with their general education program or courses in the major. They may transfer as elective credit, but they don't necessarily transfer as major credits and general education credits.
Okay,
Does that
great.
answer the question, I
Yes,
hope?
yes.
Okay.
Yes,
Wisam,
it
do you have
does.
anything to add?
The same thing, like they can transfer from one community college to another. So students have the right to transfer after one semester, after one year. So it's up to them. They can do that.
Yeah.
Great.
And the other thing I would mention too with that is typically a transfer student is considered a transfer after one full year of either community college or university 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 coursework. But I always encourage students, if you're at the community college, get the associate's degree, because there's a higher guarantee of those general education credits is transferring over, as opposed to, you know, worrying about where those credits will lie, where they will fit into your overall academic plan. So getting that associate's degree, completing the community college path first before transferring is always the best move, I think.
Great, thank you. Thank you for the answer. I think it really helps our students, our listeners here. And I have a couple of questions for, I'm not going to say your name right. Wisam. Some students are also wondering about opportunities of part-time job on campus in community colleges. If you can talk about that, that will be great.
Yes, we do have on-campus jobs for international students, and we try to actually guarantee jobs for them because that helps them to not just to make some money, but also to learn some skills while they are here at Snow College. So they can apply to any job as long as it's on campus. They can work up to 20 hours per week. And most of our students, international students, have jobs on campus. They can work in the tutoring center. They can tutor math. They are, for example, taking calculus 2 or higher, so they can tutor math in the lab. They can work in the library. They can work in our office, for example, International Student Office. We have 3 students working with us. Some students help with social media. Some students help with administrative work. They can work in the gym. They can work in different areas. We post all the jobs on online, and we help them how to apply. And there's also a career center on campus. They help students with interviews, with writing their resume, cover letter, how to answer interview questions, so they prepare them for applying for those jobs. And we offer them as many jobs as possible to help them work while they're studying at Snow College.
Mm-hmm.
Great, thank you.
Yeah.
There is just one more question before we go to the next session. There is also a student wondering if all community college offer the 2+2 program model.
I think so, because in each state, because they have the same system. For example, here in Utah, so any student, if they're trying to transfer to university in the state of Utah, because we are in the same system and we're all public, belong to the state, so they transfer directly, so it's easier. So I think all community colleges have the 2+2, but some have like more with different universities in different states. I don't know if you have anything else.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I would also couple of things I would note is that, and this was highlighted at the very beginning when the EducationUSA staff was talking, is make sure you're in the right degree path. Make sure you're either going for that Associates of Arts degree or an Associates of Science, and because the Associates of kind of like an applied science, if it's sort of this 2-year terminal degree where you're going into automotive repair or HVAC or laser technology or something like that, those are designed for getting jobs after 18 to 24 months, as opposed to making sure you are truly in a transferable associate's degree program. That's very key. Also with the jobs, just in terms of finances, there was a question that was posed separately to me. When you look at, and this also touches on scholarships, when you receive the I-20, you'll see kind of that manifest of costs on the left-hand side of the I-20, and then you will see what the student or family is responsible for. And so you'll see kind of a ledger sheet, and you'll see that I-20 cost, and then you'll see if there are any scholarships, whether they are athletic scholarships or if they are merit scholarships, that will be subtracted. And then from that amount, and then it will show what the family's or students' financial responsibility is. And that's where the bank statement comes into play in terms of putting that down there. But it's important to note that if you're hoping or anticipating getting an on-campus job, that never shows up on the I-20, because that's not a guarantee. But the scholarships that you are awarded as part of that application process, that is guaranteed, a guaranteed offer from the university at the time of admission. So that's important to note.
Right, thank you for that clarification. We will make sure that if there are some other questions, we will get them to you. Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Rita, for the questions, and to Wissam and Phil for all the information, valuable information for the audience. Just as a reminder, you are to the public, you are getting more information through the chat if you want to copy paste that, as well as to take screenshots of the information that our representatives are presenting to you. And now we are pleased to welcome Maria Dietrich. She is Assistant Director at Study Abroad and International Programs in Northampton Community College, and also Ryan Geiger, who is a Northeast Region International Student Advisor and Global Education Coordinator at Penn State University. Welcome, thank you very much. And the panel is yours.
Thank you very much, Martha. I know we are coming close to the end, so Maria and I are going to try and share our information as quickly as possible. My name is Ryan Geiger, and I am one of nearly 100 individuals that works as part of Penn State Global Programs. And I am joined by my friend and colleague, Maria Dietrich from Northampton Community College, who is going to be driving the PowerPoint today. And she will have a chance to introduce herself a little more in just a moment. This evening, we are going to discuss tuition and fees. Some of you may have participated in my Money Matters webinar that I presented with EducationUSA last fall. If you were not able to participate, I recommend you search for that presentation on the EducationUSA YouTube channel, and it will help you understand how financing and funding education in the United States will work. But we're going to review tuition and fees. Then we will talk about what is a community college. Then is a community college the right choice for me? We'll talk about the 2+2 model and the transfer to complete your degree. We'll talk about Northampton Community College. And lastly, we'll talk about Penn State University. So when we talk about understanding tuition, it's almost a different language that you need to learn. There's public college or universities that have tuition based on residency. There are private colleges and universities that have tuition that is based on a flat rate or something that is set by their board of trustees. Private colleges and universities tend to have a higher tuition rate than public colleges or universities. And then there are some universities that have what's called program tuition modeling. For example, business programs or some engineering programs are more expensive than, say, a English degree or a sociology degree. So some colleges and universities might have differential pricing to account for the different cost of the materials needed for the course. Next slide, please. You hear in the news all the time about the rising cost of education around the world, and particularly in the United States. There are two articles that were just came out within the past 2 years, one from the QS Top Universities list and one from the Times Higher Education University ranking. And both of these articles basically talk about how tuition costs in the United States are rising. The average cost of tuition at a public university during academic year 2018-19 was $26,290, where the average cost of tuition at a private university in 2018-19 was $35,380. This is before you add any living expenses, books, educational supplies, and health insurance, and it doesn't necessarily account for scholarships. So if you think about financials, a 2+2 model with a community college is a very accessible model. And I will show you some graphs later on in the presentation that will show you just how much savings you could save if you participated in the Penn State and Northampton Community College 2+2 program. Now I'd like to turn it over to my friend and colleague Maria, who's going to share a little more information about Northampton Community College and how community colleges work in the United States.
Thank you, Ryan. Hola a todos. Estamos súper contentos por estar aquí para compartir un ratito. So you have heard a lot about community colleges tonight. The mission of community colleges is really to provide access to education to everyone. So it is a lower cost education, still a very high quality education. And many community colleges have open admissions, meaning that you just need a high school diploma in order to be accepted to the college. These are some things to think about so that you can consider if a community college is a good option for you. Many community colleges across the US have English as a second language programs so that you can become proficient in English so that you can continue your studies or use it in your work. Either way, it's going to open up a lot of opportunities for you. Because community colleges are lower cost, it can be a great idea to take your prerequisite courses here, to take your general education courses that are required for every major, or to take classes to improve your grades. Sometimes maybe your dream college has a really competitive acceptance requirement. So you could begin at a community college for a semester or two, or for 2 full years, to improve your grades so that you're qualified to apply to your dream college eventually. We often have smaller class sizes so that you're interacting with other students more, you're able to ask more questions to your professors and have more contact with the smaller group size. And we also like to include a lot of hands-on learning. So sometimes this involves your hands, sometimes it doesn't, but it's where you are taking what you learn in the classroom and you're applying it. So maybe you are a nursing major and you're going into a clinical setting working with patients. So you're actually getting experience and work experience in your field before you even graduate. As someone mentioned earlier, a lot of the professors are the same at a community college or at a university. It's the same textbook sometimes the same syllabus. So it's still that high quality education. And we have a lot of services on our campuses to support your education, to help you be successful, and to help you really adjust to the new college experience. I think of community colleges as a great way to prepare you for your goals. So we have English as a second language programs. We also have workforce development and skills training. And then we have the 2+2 option, which is the transfer option that we're focusing on tonight. And I just included this photo here of one of our students, Carmen, to show you about some of the opportunities that community college students have. So Carmen did research and she presented at a regional conference with 8 other universities. She picked her research topic. She made this beautiful presentation. She displayed some artwork and she was able to practice public speaking skills with our community. On this next slide, I just included some of our architecture students where they are getting that hands-on experience, taking what they're learning in the classroom and really applying it. They're building something here. They're using their design and technical skills. So to talk a little bit more about the options, the ESL program for intensive English, some international students want to come to the US to become proficient in English and then return home. Sometimes they want to study English and then continue their studies here. Either way, community college is a great way to begin that. The second option for workforce development and skills training, these are 2-year programs that were mentioned earlier, where after you graduate from that 2-year program, you're going to be qualified and ready to begin your career. And some countries in Latin America have a technical college, which is a similar model where you're studying for about 2 years after completing high school, and then you're ready to enter the workforce. The third option that we're focusing on here is to complete a 2-year Associate of Art or Associate of Science degree, and then transfer to a 4-year college to complete your bachelor's. So I included one of our current students who's doing really well at the college, Julia, who's from Brazil. She began in our English as a second language program. Then her major that she chose was communication design. Optional, she doesn't have to, but a great thing that Julia can do is after she completes the associates for 2 years, she can apply, and if she receives approval, she can complete 1 year of OPT and then transfer to a 4-year college such as Penn State University to complete her 4-year bachelor's degree. Just to keep up with, we're running a little low on time. I'm gonna go a little bit quicker, but this is just to show on the left side, some of the courses Julia will take. She's building a professional profile during her classes, and she can show that professional profile to an employer or to a college, a four-year university or college to complete her degree. And she has the option, the schools on the right side here with Penn State University, Pratt Institute in New York, University of the Arts in Philadelphia, all very strong, great schools with great reputations in the US. Just an overview of our college. We are open admissions, so you just need that high school diploma. We do not require any English testing or SAT scores. We have the ESL program. We have 100 academic programs to choose from, low cost, small class size. We have campus housing, which is unique for a community college. Great location, we're accredited, so we have very easy transfer to many four-year schools in the US. We are accredited by the same organization as Penn State University, so that transfer process is super easy. And we have services on campus such as a career center, library, and tutoring to help support your studies here. These are some of our popular transfer programs: business administration, the sciences, education, liberal arts, social work. We also have sports management. So no matter what your educational goals are, you can probably start at a community college, save some money, and then have lots of opportunities to either enter the workforce or to complete your bachelor's. Here's our contact information, which I'm just going to breeze through, and we'll go back to Ryan to continue more about the transfer process and about Penn State University.
Thank you, Maria. So Penn State University is a very, very large university. We are founded in 1855. We are a top 100 university among all of the major world university rankings lists, so the top 1% of universities. We have 24 campuses spread out across the state of Pennsylvania, and our main campus, our University Park campus, has 47,000 students. Our total enrollment is 100,000 students, and we have nearly 10,000 international students. According to the Institute for International Education, we were ranked 12th for hosting international students during the academic year 2019-2020. We have over 700,000 alumni that are actively participating in Penn State networking events throughout the world. And I need to update my PowerPoint slide because we just broke the $1 billion mark in completing research amidst a pandemic, no less. So we're very proud of the opportunities for completing research. We are also, according to a LinkedIn poll, we are one of the top producers of chief executive officers in the world. So what is a 2+2 agreement? You've heard some of our colleagues talk about. It is an agreement between two schools. It is a pathway for a continued plan of study. A 2+2 is beneficial because in most cases, it's an established agreement where your credits have already been agreed upon to transfer for a degree. Why is this beneficial? If you were like me when you were 18 or 19 and you didn't know what you wanted to be when you grew up, going to a community college was a great option to explore majors. Yes, I am saying that because I went to a community college, and here I am at Penn State now, not only working at Penn State, but also working on my PhD. So community college is a great pathway to open up a lot of doors and explore what you're interested in at a very low cost. It allows you to save time, it allows you to save money, and there are 2+2 agreements among domestic universities and with some international universities. So Penn State University has a specific agreement with Northampton Community College. If you look at this map of Pennsylvania, which is located around the middle of the East Coast of the United States, all of these blue dots represent a Penn State campus across the state. Some are in rural areas, some are in urban areas. So you have an opportunity to find a fit that is right for you. If you begin your studies at Northampton Community College, If you transfer, you can go near at, let's say, any of these 5 or 6 colleges in the northeast part of the state, or you can go a little bit further, say to Philadelphia, or out towards Pittsburgh or the western part of the state. The bottom line is, with our 2+2 agreement, it doesn't matter what Penn State campus you study at, a degree from Penn State is a degree from Penn State. And the benefit of these branch campuses is that we have an embedded scholarship that has tuition savings of anywhere between $8,000 and $13,000 annually. This is a list of majors that are approved in our 2+2 agreement. You can see that there's a wide variety from arts, business, computer science, criminal justice, cybersecurity, engineering, English, human development, family studies, letters, arts and sciences, nursing, and rehabilitation and human services, and survey engineering. I've highlighted the 5 campuses that are closest to Northampton Community College, but remember there are an additional 11 Penn State campuses that are included in this agreement. So a little while ago, I talked about the financial benefits of a 2+2. If you were to compare studying at a 4-year public university versus a 4-year private university, or the Penn State 2+2 model. So I've created this chart here, and I've taken the average cost of a 4-year public university from 2018-19 of $26,290. If you would pay that for 4 years, you're looking at a cost of $105,160. That is just in tuition alone. You're probably looking at another $50,000 to $75,000 in housing expenses, books, insurance, and things like that. If we compare that $105,000 at a public university, the cost goes up when you're at a private university. The average cost for a tuition at a private university, as I mentioned earlier, is $35,380. And if you did that for 4 years, you were looking at tuition costs of $143,320. If you compare that to the Northampton Community College tuition and the Penn State University tuition, you would be looking at about $15,350 for your first 2 years. Then when you transfer to Penn State for years 3 and 4, you're looking at about $26,400 in tuition costs, making your total over a 4-year period about $83,500. So with our 2+2 model, you're essentially getting a 4-year degree for the cost of anywhere between 2.5 and 3 years of education at a traditional 4-year public university, or 2 years of education at a private university in the United States. And these figures are calculated based on the National Center for Education Statistics and Penn State and Northampton Community College's I-20 estimates. Some of our most popular 2+2 majors in the Northampton and Penn State Community College Agreement are business, which has various areas of specialization such as accounting, finance, marketing, entrepreneurship, corporate communications, electrical engineering, and probably our most popular is information science and technology, which is working with data sciences and big data. Penn State University also has an embedded 2+2 program where if you choose to apply to Penn State University, you can choose to start your studies at anywhere of our 20 campuses, and then you are automatically guaranteed to transition to our University Park campus, which is pictured here. In the picture on the top, that circle on the far right shows Beaver Stadium, which is our American football stadium, the second largest university football stadium in the United States, with a seating capacity of 106,572. And yes, that does fill up almost every Saturday when you have a home football game. You compare that to our other circle here, which is our old main, which is one of the original academic buildings on campus. University Park isn't a right fit for everybody, but if you are looking for that big college experience in a college that's its own functioning city, University Park is a destination you may want to consider. Our 2+2 works similarly, where you have no application to transfer after 2 years, you get lower tuition costs, and you start with smaller class sizes in an environment that fits you. Again, this is our map showing our Commonwealth campuses that are throughout the state. And you have a variety of options. Like I said, we have the Philadelphia and Pittsburgh major metropolitan areas. We have a lot of areas around the state. And then our University Park campus in the center. And a lot of these campuses were strategically positioned because of their proximity to major industries. So no matter where you start, from year 1, 2, 3, or 4, you will have an opportunity to have an internship with a major employer that is related to your major at any one of our campuses. Here's some pictures of Penn State, then and now. This picture in the top left shows our very humble university in 1855, which started out as an agriculture school. Then we have our university in the 1950s. And then in the very bottom, this color photo, our university has grown. It's so large, you cannot take a still photo and get our entire campus in one frame. But don't worry, we have shuttle buses that will take you from place to place. Penn State University does have the largest active alumni network, and we do a lot to connect you with our network of alumni from year 1. These pictures show various alumni events that we've hosted throughout the world. And if you participate in any of our leadership opportunities, you would have an opportunity to connect and network with alumni as well. As I mentioned earlier, Penn State University was ranked #2 in the producers of chief executive officers in the United States. This was a study that was done by LinkedIn, where they looked at over 12,000 profiles from CEOs from 20 different countries, analyzing where they attended their undergraduate studies. Some of the notable alumni from Penn State University include Nike CEO Mark Parker and former Hemsbrand CEO Richard Knoll. To put this into perspective, Penn State is the #2 producer of CEOs. Another really great university, Harvard, was #3. Next slide. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact us at Penn State Admissions, or you can connect with our Global Programs Office on Facebook and Instagram. And with that, Maria and I would be happy to entertain any of your questions.
Thanks a lot, Maria and Ryan, for this wonderful presentation. I have just one last question, and I think this is very interesting for all our attendees. You've been sharing so many benefits and advantages of the 2+2 programs. And one of our attendants is wondering if there is an advantage of starting a program directly in the university instead of following the 2+2 path, starting the university, the program at the university. Is there a difference at the degree they are going to get? That would be helpful if you can explain that.
Sure. Everybody needs to find their right fit for college or university. For some of you, that may be by enrolling directly into a traditional 4-year college or university. But, we've talked a lot about money and going to school at 6 very different universities in the United States. There are over 5,300 universities in the United States, and to try and navigate the search is very difficult. With the rising cost of education, we realize that not everybody will have the mobility to be able to start at a traditional four-year university. But we don't want you to think that because you can't start at a big university with a higher price tag, that you don't have any options of getting a degree in the United States. Often by starting at a community college, my colleagues at Chemeketa, Snow, and Northampton, I hope have shown you that you get an opportunity for a smoother start to the start of your studies by having smaller class sizes, more individualized attention, and certainly significant cost savings. It's an opportunity to set you on a trajectory for strong academic performance, as well as making connections, not at one college or university, but at two. And then by continuing on at a four-year university, you will see that over a four-year period, if you compared a 2+2 model versus the private or public university, you're saving thousands and thousands of dollars. On average, it will look like a four-year degree at a traditional public or private university in dollars will cost you about the same amount as 3 years if you do the 2+2. It'll still take you 4 years to complete, but if you compare the dollars you spend, you're looking at saving money. And then as Maria and Phil mentioned, with the opportunity to apply for optional practical training, I guess we would call that a 2+1+2, but you would have an opportunity to earn an income in that year between your studies, which would also allow you to save more money towards your continuation of your studies. Maria,
Exactly. No, that was great, Ryan. Just with the OPT, that 2+1+2 option, during that OPT, you can earn income and you can also gain really relevant work experience. I mean, anytime you can complete an internship and actually start working, start meeting people in your profession, start doing the work, you're going to learn so much about what you want to do in your future. It's going to be really valuable.
Thank you both, and I let Marta and Jackson for the closing words of this wonderful session today.
Thank you, Elvira. Thank you very much. Well, we want to thank everyone, all the attendees for your attention, and all the representatives for your collaboration. It has been great collaboration with you, and all the information that you have shared with the people. I think is very valuable to all of them, even if it is the same topic. Each institution has its own specifications, and it's very important to hear from you about that. We encourage as well everyone to follow us in social media. We are very happy to see a lot of people from different countries, as this is a regional showcase. So please don't hesitate to find your advising center and follow us there, because during the year we are constantly planning and organizing and delivering different events for you with relevant topics to this process. So don't hesitate to contact us, and we will be very happy to collaborate with you in this process, totally free, because we are part of the government of the US. So to go through that process of application for admission.
Thank you, Marta, for such a wonderful information. And again, finding the right fit, as Marta said, and all of our collaborators today, it takes time, right? Then there's that university, there's that college that is the right one for you, whether you are choosing the 2+2 program or going straight ahead to a four-year institution. Remember that there are 430 centers in 175 countries around the world. You may contact us finding that center at educationusa.state.gov in your city, so that you can talk to that advisor and you may start your search. This is a process that can take from 12 to 18 months. So do not leave things to chance. Do not wait to the last minute. It is your job. It is your responsibility to take action and find that institution. All right, find that place that you will benefit from. So I want to thank again all of our collaborators for such a wonderful job, Maria, Ryan, Vincent, Phil, William, and Anusha for collaborating and giving us so much information tonight. So thank you again, and I hope that you have enjoyed this information provided by Education USA and the institutions and collaborators today. Thank you, everyone. Have a good evening.